history?
The history a little bit, just you know, starting with the JIP and how they created some guidance for the industry, and then in 2006 API 15S came out as a recommended practice, and we started testing to that practice. And then in about 2010 there was another committee made to bring that practice into a specification so that you could get a monogram. So that took a 6-year process to issue a standard with a specification on it in 2016. And then really that's when our testing really took off to get all products into a monogram. It's taken that full 7 years.
Yeah, so I guess on the product side, we went through, and even though we had pipe that was designed to the standard, to the recommended practice of API 15S, we had to re-qualify it as the standard changed and went through revisions. And so when we undertook that whole re-qualification process from that point to now, just on our Flexpipe and Flexpipe high temp products, we've actually gone through over 350 pipe level tests, plus a whole lot more testing on materials and all the requirements and documentation in order to get that to the point where we could put a monogram on it. So some of the testing that we do goes through, it's mostly destructive testing. So we tend to put pipe in ovens and pressurize it until it ruptures over a long period of time and build up a good predictive history so that we can predict 20 years out that this pipe is going to last the full lifetime of 20 years in the ground. On the API Q1 requirements, a large part of that is the design and development process. So we've had to upgrade our design and development process to meet the requirements in API Q1, line with the monogram. And we go through a series of steps during the planning process. So we go through a project plan, and then we go through inputs requirements to the outputs, to design verification and validation, all the way until the product's released.
On the Q1 side, like one thing that's pretty important is the management of change process. So anytime we want to introduce new suppliers or new materials, we have to make sure that they're fully qualified and capable of delivering material that's equivalent or better to what we previously qualified our products with, so that we don't change, you know, the standard or the level of manufacturing that we originally committed to.
And we are the third license of API 15S, 15-003.
We've had all our performance testing validated and audited by a third party during qualification.
It's one thing to say that you meet API 15S, it's another thing to be annually audited by a third party who has fairly high standards and asks a lot of questions and comes on site for a week. It's a whole other level.
For API 15S, we're required to have processes and procedures in place for all the manufacturing steps, from making liner to jacketing to winding our pipe, to make sure that we have the repeatability and traceability for all those manufacturing documents, just to make sure that the pipe we made yesterday is the same pipe that we'll make tomorrow.